Philly, Joe and Kirby podcast.
This is the Philly, Joe and Kirby podcast.
You know, funny story. Well, not that funny, but so I picked up my mom to go vote last night because my dad wasn't feeling very good. 84 years old. He didn't feel like going out yesterday, so I went and got my mom. And
that's a nice little moment.
yeah, thank you, because it was. And on the way to take her to vote, she's like, "Oh, your grandpa, my dad would never ever forgive me if I ever missed an opportunity to vote." And growing up, and I remember my grandpa always talking about politics. He loved it, right? So for him, not voting was just unfathomable. And my mom was on and on about that last night. So that was pretty cool. And I think on a morning like this, where we have our results, the idea that you went out and vote, I think it's very important. And respect each other's views and respect the results. I don't think that's too much to ask.
I love the fact that when I've done my dad a solid in his eyes, like picked him up to take him somewhere, he always offers money for gas, and it's like, come on, Dad, it's okay. Like, I'm all right.
So sweet,
I'll be okay,
though.
thanks. Like, you drove you to Polo Park, like he lives in the West End. It's not far.
Be something if you were taking the money. Yeah, that's $10, Dad. Hand it over.
Just leave it right here, Dad. I don't want to accept it, but I'll take it. Just leave it there.
I have somebody in my life that's newly 18, and they were very excited to exercise their right to vote.
Ah, nice.
That's key. I remember,
which is kind of cool to see with the
doing
young people. Yeah,
for the first time, getting out there and voting and showing some interest in it.
Actually, at 18, drinking was more important to us than voting. I believe in my world at first, but yes, it is a big deal.
I'm still nervous when I go in there, though, marking the X in the right spot, making sure I don't over exit. Like, I don't want to spoil my ballot. Like, you guys, it's pretty simple. Don't get me wrong, but there are ways you can screw it up.
I feel like it was a little less, and then prove me if I'm wrong, but like a little less high tech than our provincial election.
Yeah, because they go and they know right away if they got your vote.
Like there's like a machine thing, and this one was more like manual. You walked back up to the person, and they would rip half of it off, and then give you the ballot to put in the box.
If I ever get a chance as a volunteer, I want to be the guy that gets to pull the piece of paper over the slot on top of the box where you have to put it back in, and then he puts that piece of paper back. That's a job. But I don't want to be the guy with the ruler or the girl with the ruler that has to cross out the name.
That is a special
job. That takes skill.
Joe, you could never work one of those election polling stations. Things would be held up because you'd be visiting with people, and it would be like slow moving lines, and everybody be like, what the hell's going on in there?
I know
and
exactly.
They get in there and they see Joe.
You're right. I need to be the other person, the person standing as everybody's in line. I like that job right there.
Can we do that after retirement? That would interest me.
You can do that anytime.
I know, but it seems
you would
like
to wait until you're retired.
Once I'm done from radio.
Well, there's a lot of people that do that, I feel like.
Right. I think I'd like that. Park over here. This is where you go vote. I think I could handle
definitely see.
If we open that retirement home we've been talking about, you and I are going to be shuttling some of our people to the election to vote.
Bus.
Oh my God!
We got to have a bus, Kirby.
Philly, Joe, Kirby.
Philly, Joe and Kirby
podcast.
The Philly, Joe and Kirby podcast.
Street cleaning complaint. Not so much a street cleaner complaint, more about the time of day they decide to get the crews out.
Like, is there any reason why they need to be cleaning the streets at, like, rush hour around the schools? Like, I'm trying to drop my kids off from school, and there's friggin' gridlock because they need to do a half-ass cleaning job. Like, it makes no sense. It just boggles the mind.
I can say that I've seen work being done in front of a school right around 3 o'clock. At times, whether it's street cleaning or otherwise, and said to myself, like, did anybody look at the work order and say maybe not 3 o'clock right in front of a school? So I can understand, I can relate.
But you know what? I got to say they're doing an awesome job out there, because there are a lot of streets that are starting to look nice and clean, and I'm starting to feel that entrance of summer coming to our city.
Entrance of summer, folks.
Sounds like a
It's
song.
almost here. Get the doors. The big doors are finally open.
Oh, man.
Well, okay, feeling poetic.
Did
this
you get
morning.
a good sleep last
No,
night?
I
There's
didn't get a good sleep.
You're beaming over there. I feel like we're going to get a lot of pontificating today. It just feels like there's a lot of...
Well, it is the day after an election.
Okay.
Yeah,
So-
you're breaking down the election. The entrance to summer is almost here. It sounds like you know what? The Bay of all things could have used your kind of marketing right there.
Yes.
They might still be around. The entrance to summer is almost here. The Bay.
This doesn't feel like 4 hours you want to miss today. Okay. Driver training car in traffic. So this would be the car that trains if you're out learning how to drive.
We've all been there.
Yeah, yeah.
So driving north from Winnipeg towards Lockport, the whole way following this car in the passing lanes. Finally, of course, I have to pass him in the driving lane. But the thing is, I get up to him, and it's a driver training car. Well, no wonder the bone phone's so busy. By the way, Jets fans, chill. Have a little faith in your team. Just chill.
So I think he's talking about the instructor was behind the wheel. I don't know. It feels like maybe that's what he was saying.
Or if the instructor was in the passenger side, that's
right.
not so good.
Uh-huh.
But
Okay.
yes, Jets fans, tomorrow night's a big one. Game 5.
Yep.
Got to believe.
Definitely. Okay. Deer whistles came up on the show yesterday.
Guys talking about deer whistles. Well, I don't have an experience with the deer whistle, but my dad does. He had one. It didn't really work. He clipped the deer. It didn't damage the car too much. So then what he did was he went and bought an electronic one. And that actually worked excellent. It shoots out a high-frequency sound. Worked great. Till the day it didn't want to work. It actually fried. And that particular day, my dad smokes a deer and writes his car off right by the White Horse. Unbelievable. The one day it goes down, he smokes a deer.
Wow.
Wow. Go Jets!
Okay.
What are the chances,
Yeah. Loud guy there. Thank you very much. Lots about deer whistles yesterday. You can get them at Canadian Tire or the CAA store.
Somebody said Dollarama. Now, listen, nothing against Dollarama, but if I'm going all out for something like a deer whistle, I'm not sure I'm playing the game
Did
there.
I not just tell you off air not too long ago about the pregnancy tests at Dollarama?
You did.
I was just telling you that, my girlfriend is trying to get pregnant, one of my girls that I'm friends with, and she is using those tests because they're far cheaper and they are accurate. So don't knock the dollar store.
No,
I wasn't.
No.
Well,
I don't
but
think
thanks
he
for
was.
getting that out about your friend peeing on her pregnancy test.
Well, I'm just saying, the deer whistles at the dollar store probably work decent.
Listen, I still remember a time, if we're going to get personal about the dollar store, when I bought a bag of Bic lighters because they were reasonably
Whoa,
priced.
Don't knock on Bic lighters.
I'm
What
sorry.
are you doing? I got a buddy who gets his Bic lighters
No, I get it.
at the dollar
I
store,
know.
Joe.
He probably
I know.
steals everyone's
His
lighter.
wife's trying to get pregnant. He gets his Bics.
All of a sudden, the next thing you know, summer's here.
Why did the entrance of summer? I'm going to talk about the exit of me today.
Okay, let's wrap up with Lisa. And if there's one thing we know about Lisa, is she listens. And she listens a lot.
Yes.
Anyway, hi guys. I was up all night and sleep all day, and then I heard the Bones phone this morning, and it was so funny. Friday is going to be rainy. I was listening to you guys all morning. Going to rain outside. I don't know. Game 7 is 7.
Not game 7.
Anyway, love you.
So just a couple corrections, Lisa. It's not game 7 yet, but she does seem to like your weather.
Yeah, well, it's going to rain. It's going to rain outside, Lisa. That's correct. That could be tonight into tomorrow, okay? Otherwise, it looks pretty good. The entrance to summer, as Kirby has framed it.
Yeah.
I would say Saturday, Sunday, it's going to feel like that.
Go back
Sunny.
off dollar stores.
Sorry. There's one on every corner.
You guys.
Easy to find. That was a good sidebar, actually, the pregnancy test.
The Philly Joe and Kirby podcast.
I am getting a lot of traction. Thank you. On the Boston Pizza text line. People who can visualize me working at a polling station someday, doing various things at said polling station. people suggested I got that high vis because I've always sort of thought being a community patrol would be neat too. So if you're would I wear the high vis if I was volunteering at a polling station?
At the door.
Yeah.
Handing out a pamphlet.
Right. And just, I think that would be neat someday. Maybe get a golf cart and drive around the parking lot.
Okay, that's where you lose me, is the golf cart.
Maybe some of the seniors need hey, what if some of the seniors need a ride? Like I'm talking, I'll come out of my own pocket for the golf cart.
Wow.
Have you seen the parking lot at some of these polling stations? You can barely park your car in them. Never mind a golf cart.
Good point.
Phil's riding around like Mr. Leahy in the trailer park on this golf cart, ushering people to the door.
Wow.
It depends on what site you're at, Phil. Yeah. If you're at your school.
There's Murdoch McKay. There was
I
lots
know.
of room.
Because you got the teachers parking there.
Maybe we set up food stations there too. We've always talked about food. We've talked about food at election.
We think it would just
voting.
As much as a good idea as getting a hot dog or a piece of pizza on your way out of a voting station sounds, I feel like it's going to hold things up.
A pizza oven, like a
No, that's not going to last. You got to go hot dogs or Smokies.
dogs?
Well, because you can rotate those all day. What are you going to do with a pizza slice? Oh, this one looks like it's been here since 11. What is it? That's the vegetarian. We only made one.
This is the Philly, Joe, and Kirby podcast.
Phil Aubrey, the Big Slice Joe Aiello, and the Vegetarian Express Shalinda Kirby. No,
That's it.
Not approved.
Well, like, why?
I don't know. It just came out of me. I think you vetoed that nickname a long time ago. I apologize.
I veto most of the nicknames you've tried to give me.
That one came from the listeners. That's when we
The
were doing
Vegetarian Express?
That's when we came up with the video game that your son Jack
yes.
put the characters together.
Yeah, he made
Phil
the
made
wrestling
characters.
Red
Oh,
Dragon.
those were good.
Yeah.
Those were good.
Joe was
looked
glistening.
so good. He was oiled up.
He was very oiled up.
Like it was a weightlifting
Could have slid right,
or show. What
right through anything, really.
Bodybuilding competition.
You looked wet.
Do wrestlers oil up? Like you worked in the industry a long time. Do they oil up before they go out there?
Some guys were. It's hard because you're going to slide right off your opponent. In a lot of cases, but water. A lot of them would
they
splash
like to
the
look
water
wet,
on themselves. It's
you
not
know?
a bodybuilding competition. But I'll tell you right now, if I was, I'm going to get that picture. I could have gotten sponsored by Super Lube.
You had a good layer of oil on you, Johnson's and Johnson's, right? Well, and my guy was. Give my kid credit. My guy was in way too good a shape for me. Like he was.
Yeah, but you looked pretty badass.
I did, but it was too much. Like
It's
I
a
don't.
video character.
I know, but I'm not.
Well, mine was very busty. I gotta say, I don't know what
Yours
the
was in great shape too.
Yeah, great shape in terms of my bra size. I don't know
Wow.
what.
Vegetarian Express. Hey, what's the
I'm
difference?
just saying that video game was not well represented in terms of reality.
Well, listen, people do that with pictures all the time on social media.
That is
this
true.
was for a video
That
game.
is true.
You might as well wear
fun.
it all out there.
But the purple hair was in there, and that's all that matters.
That's all that matters. The
we know.
trademark, the signature.
Yep.
100%. Hey, we're getting some Toodat. We sometimes Toodat slips through the cracks, and I'm gonna throw that right at you, Joe. It's your viral sensation. You got to remember to get it out there.
I mentioned it earlier this morning. It's the hashtag the number 2 DAT, Toodat. So 2 days ago, Tuesday is Sunday. And what did you do on Sunday? A lot of people had shown us pictures of the Jets game because that was a nooner.
Oh, we'll get some.
And
good
then
ones.
you had a lot of yard cleanup.
Yeah.
You had that going on. We had some people fishing or
Melissa had her cat in a
Yeah.
stroller.
yeah.
Oh, look at that. Hey, hot dog guy has a picture of his dog on the text
How
line.
about the professor? Yeah, that's a cute dog,
That
by the
is
way,
a
Hot
cute
Dog
dog.
has. And then there was the professor. It was 2 a.m. cleaning up at his daughter's wedding social. They had a Hawaiian theme. Good to see the professor. I hope the social is a success.
Hawaiian theme? Who doesn't like throwing on the Hawaiian
I
outfits,
love
the
a
shirts?
theme party in general. Like, I swear to God, if somebody invites me to a theme party, I am a level 10 excited.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is
Well,
your
you're
thing.
always been good, though, like with costumes and that for Halloween
yeah.
and that.
Yeah.
But you
Very
guys
good.
not so much,
We
because I'll
failed.
never forget
Yeah, good
the
friend.
time we got invited to my friend Tiffany's birthday, our friend Tiffany's birthday party, and she had a theme of animal print, and you guys were not having any of it.
Oh, yeah, because most guys I know are just sitting around. Sorry, my one buddy, John, was going to lend me his loincloth, but he wasn't in town, so
You
I had
could
no
have
way.
got some cheetah print, or
do
like
I-
maybe
Are you
like
kidding?
a zebra print or something.
My wife dressed up right?
She
In
did.
a full outfit.
She looked real good.
Yeah, oh yeah. Like
You kept talking about her looking like a mob wife.
Yeah.
I don't
that's
have
really-
anything from Kiss's Animalized tour sitting in my closet. I'm with
You
Joe.
don't have any tiger prints.
I did not. I don't have any. So Joe and I talked. We're like, I'm not wearing animal print or you. He's
I
like,
thought showing up was good for the birthday party.
This is the Philly Joe and Kirby podcast.
Be a good person.
Rate or review this show wherever you subscribe and get PJK into more ears.
When asked, what superstition do you believe in? And right now, this time of year, there's a lot of sports fans. Not only that, athletes that believe in superstitions. I'm one of them. That
You're an
you know,
athlete that
we
believes in
could-
superstitions?
Yeah, you know me.
He is an
full
athlete.
full blown.
You ever seen him on the deadlift?
Absolutely. You should have seen me running with my dog Stewie. Well, he started running and I had to keep up. And then I said, Stewie, can we stop now? That was about, 12 feet? 12 feet. No one's going to beat me in a 12-feet race, I'll
Wow.
tell you that.
And
I
he's
give it
calling.
my all, and then I was heaving, like breathing heavy.
Okay, we get it. You're an athlete.
He's calling for a line change after 12 feet.
That's
Change
it.
him
I
up.
was going right to the bench. When asked, what superstition do you believe in? 25% of people said this. What is it?
Sorry, what's that percentage, Joe?
25. So
25.
a quarter of people said this is
This.
the one superstition they believe in.
Wow. Okay. 780 City, good morning.
Good morning. I'm going to go with lucky number 7.
Not in the top 5, believe it or not.
Thanks for playing this morning.
That's a very popular one.
Hailstorm tickets
Maybe
just
that
announced.
number's higher, sorry,
Yeah.
than
No.
25%.
And then whiteout party passes.
Yeah, street party passes. Yep.
Good morning, City.
Yeah, morning, sounds like one.
Sorry, you were a little muffled there. You looking
think
for
he
a
said
lifeline?
lifeline, yeah.
Okay, Philly or Kirby? Sorry, man. You're gonna have to maybe pull your face away from the phone a little bit, or we can't quite hear you.
Billy?
There we go. Okay. Friday the 13th.
No, sir.
Ooh, good guess,
Is it
though.
in the top 5?
No.
What?
No.
Sorry, bro. Have a good one.
Probably more popular than 25%.
Okay, that's
But
where
you know,
I,
in a lot of parts of the world, 13 is a very lucky number.
Yeah, I have heard that.
Okay. Good morning, City.
Hey, can I get Kirby as a lifeline?
Curbster.
Something that I do is I don't walk under ladders.
Number 4, Kirby. Number 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 4. Don't walk under a ladder. 25% of people said, yeah, they believe in that superstition.
And they don't want you walking under the ladder, guys and girls that are working
No,
hard.
it doesn't seem very
No.
safe. Yeah.
Wear a hat.
Yeah.
Wear a high-vis vest.
You're too close to their job site if you're walking under the
That's
ladder.
it. I wouldn't know what to do in the job site. I'll bring coffee and donuts. Like, hey, my good buddy Gary Cole.
Yeah.
Rock and roll Gary Cole asked if we wanted coffee and donuts this morning. That's a good man.
What a gem.
Glorious text message to get. Good
Clutch
morning, City.
on a Tuesday.
Good morning.
Hey.
Would it be breaking mirror?
Nothing with the mirror.
Like
no.
12 years of bad luck if you break them. I think is it 7 years?
7, not 12.
Okay,
I don't
12.
know
12
where-
seems a little long.
Kirby put a tariff on a superstition.
What? 12?
Just seems like a little long
Not there.
for bad luck.
Hi, City.
Hey, can you repeat the question again?
Yeah, you bet. 25% of people said this is the superstition that they believe in.
Look, I get a lifeline.
Philly or Kirby? Probably Kirby's a better bet. I'm not very superstitious, and I've exhausted
Yeah.
all the ones I know.
Let's go with Kirby. She's on a heater too. Last couple
Yeah, that's true.
Thank you. I'm going to say bad things happen in threes.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Is she on a
I
heater?
told you.
I could
Bad
keep going.
things happen in threes.
Ah!
You know what? That makes sense. I kind of believe in that one myself. I think sometimes
It usually
things happen in
applies.
threes. Yeah, it applies. You want to hear the rest of this list?
Yeah.
Can I
go.
guess?
Yeah, please.
Kirby.
Umbrella indoors.
No.
Black cats.
No.
Walking on
Those-
sidewalk cracks.
No. I
Oh.
think those are more popular than 25%.
Okay.
So, buddy, you're lucky she nailed that one because
Yeah.
the next 4 out of her mouth weren't right.
Don't
Okay, so what is the list?
don't cheers with drinks with water.
Oh, with water.
Yeah, you shouldn't be doing the hey, cheers with water.
Okay.
I've heard people say, "Hey, you can't do that. Get a drink." Like one of those. Well, I don't drink. Well, okay, but you can't do it with water. Knock on wood. For good
Oh,
luck.
yes, knock on wood. Yep.
Yeah.
I thought that one was way more popular. And horseshoes are good luck. Like you know.
Okay. Yeah.
There you go.
All right, what's your name?
It's Chris.
Chris.
Nice.
Congratulations, man. Hang on the line.
Philly, Joe, Kirby.
Philly, Joe, and Kirby.
Podcast.
The Philly, Joe, and Kirby Podcast.
HSC has unveiled Manitoba's first ever surgical robot aimed at improving patient care through minimally invasive procedures. The new technology promises quicker recoveries, less pain, and shorter hospital stays. Medical leaders say that it will also help recruit top doctors to the province.
I don't know. How's that consult, though? Do you, meet with the robot? No. Does it roll into the room with a coffee and, start telling you about the surgery?
I think it does the surgery.
Oh, okay.
I don't think you're meeting with the robot. I don't think there's any
Sometimes with these surgeries,
pre-op
there's
appointments.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know if the robot.
It's usually a phone call now. You don't even have to go in.
So it's a Teams meeting with the robot?
No, there's no meeting with the robot except for when you're underneath the light in the operating room.
Guess who's helping clog the healthcare system? Phil Aubrey, ladies and gentlemen.
The Philly, Joe, and Kirby Podcast.
Hit us up wherever you get this podcast and rate and review the show.
Good fortune will come to you.
Actually, we can't promise that, but we'll cross our fingers.
Kirby,
Yeah.
off air, it's been a topic of discussion, so we need to bring it up. What's with, why do you have such a problem with jackets? What is your issue?
I'm glad you asked because it's top of mind.
I have this problem at home with my boys, but they're 14 and 12.
Here's the difference,
and
though.
I'm 35.
Yes,
but no, I see it. I see it in the 25-year-old hoodies, socks, and stocks or shoes,
Birks,
and sweats. All the time. It doesn't matter if it's 30 degrees or minus 30. There's at least that hoodie. Kirby, I don't know what's going on.
I don't know what's going on either, you guys. I think I need an intervention.
Well, Joe's trying all morning.
I've tried to help you every year.
Yeah.
I know, but what's wrong with me? Yesterday, you would think after sitting in here hearing about the forecast all day that I would know to not leave the house in just a t-shirt and jeans and have the wind freeze me to
It
death.
was miserable.
I
yesterday.
told you 8 times
I know.
that the wind was gusting from the north at 70 kilometers. And not only did you come to work, you left work stepping outside. Then you got home and left that place to go somewhere in a t-shirt and jeans.
Can I borrow your jacket today, though?
I told you I was going to give you my jacket.
I don't know. Today could be the worst, though, because I just left in a...
That's not bad. That's like a fleece.
Yeah,
Well,
I can
it's just
see
a-
you through
it's about-
it.
Oh.
Literally. That's how
And
thin
a
it
thin
is.
t-shirt.
I've
And a
seen
thin
worse.
t-shirt.
And a thin t-shirt.
I told you you
My
can have
bra
my
is thicker
jacket.
than most of the clothing I'm
Well,
wearing.
I can't talk about that, but here, yeah,
I
you can.
can.
I said you can borrow my jacket.
Okay, well, that's very nice, Joe.
mentioned
Do you have
that.
an extra jacket?
Go look in the
No.
lost and found. There's probably a coat in there.
Where
Maybe there's a
someone-
trench coat.
Right, a Rogers jacket that somebody... it looks like I'm going to go service somebody's house.
Someone's going to fly you down.
We're
Excuse
not-
me.
we're
I'm
not
having trouble
getting-
with my cable. You look like you work for Rogers.
We're not
was
getting you a
just cold.
high-vis vest and a construction hat to go home.
The Philly, Joe, and Kirby Podcast.
And listen, I just had a donut, and it made me think.
Listen, I just had a donut.
It made me think of
and,
this. It's never come up on the show, and we talk about food quite often. We've talked about hot dogs and how many hot dogs people can eat, but these things are like an addiction for me because I
Donuts?
don't eat them very often.
One is easy.
So it's a special treat. But how many?
Yeah.
There's got to be somebody in the office when you bring in some donuts.
that can do some damage.
Yeah.
I brought in a couple of dozen to a group I had to go see.
Yeah.
And a couple of them said, oh, my God, no, I can't be doing a donut. And there was one that basically grabbed the box, and you could tell that person could probably go through at least half a box in a day.
Well, it depends on the donut, and I think Phil will agree with me. There's different densities of donuts, right?
No,
if you get one of those fancy
right.
donuts from O Donuts or whatever, or another local business that has a hefty donut.
You're right.
Krispy
Tim's-
Kreme?
Krispy Kreme, they're light.
I can
They're
have
light,
5 before
yeah.
I blink. That's dangerous.
I'd
Krispy
love to
Kreme.
know because
They're
we
like
talked
shooters.
about pierogies. How many
Yeah.
people pierogies have eaten? How many people?
How
or
many
how many
people-
donuts?
How many people pierogies have eaten?
But
We know what you
we've
meant.
never talked about donuts, but
No,
you're
yeah.
absolutely right.
I love records.
The thing is, though, at some level, you're going to have that sugar crash. But
2 is easy. I'll say for myself, 2 is easy. 2 is easy. That third is an investment, and I feel like in this room,
I've
if
done
one
it.
of us is going, But if one of us is going for the third, we talk about it first. Oh boy, I shouldn't. Like, it doesn't come without a speech, the third.
Yeah.
Because you're
Even
like,
the second comes with a bit of a mention in this room.
I feel like this,
I'm going to do a second. Why not?
But you're not feeling horrible about the second.
What about the person
third?
in the office that takes a knife and cuts just a little piece of the donut and then leaves the rest in the box?
Yeah, that's the last one I'm going for. But if it's the only one left in the box, I'll have the last 2/3.
Well, look, we got the concert announcement, the Daily Banger, but we got an hour left in the show. Let's get this done. How many donuts? You know someone who has a half dozen at a time?
There's got to be.
And there's no judgment. We're not going to judge you if you've polished
God, no.
off 2 dozen
No.
donuts or whatever.
Yeah.
That's actually impressive.
But what's the most amount of donuts you've actually eaten? 3.
I bet you 3 would be 3.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I've done 3 before.
Maybe I've done 4. Maybe.
Timbits get me because they're just the holes.
Well, that's
but
different,
then
yeah.
I know,
No.
then I can just throw those back. So technically, I don't know how many of
Well,
those
we'll
would equal
keep
into
Timbits
donuts.
out of it.
Yeah, you gotta.
Okay. Well,
why do you do this all the time? It's like
How do
Why
I
do
throw
I make
this?
things complicated? Because I'm a woman.
we're
Just
donuts.
kidding.
Well, Timbits are a whole different topic. Maybe
Yeah.
that's tomorrow.
Okay, so donuts, I would say I've only ever eaten 2 in a sitting.
2. Okay.
Yeah.
Never a third. Okay.
I just don't have a sweet tooth.
I for sure have done 3. I don't know. 4
I'm
is
gonna go on record and say I've done 4.
probably on an on location where you're there for a few hours, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because then you're
If they're
like
sitting
throughout
there.
the
Look
time.
at this. My weightlifting buddy eats a dozen after a workout. No.
That's impressive.
Someone said Boston cream donuts 9.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay, that's too much cream for one person in a day.
You know what I have heard
Like-
though? Like people that do like competitive bodybuilding or whatever,
Yes.
because they go on that whole lean diet before a competition.
Yeah.
So after the competition, they crave a certain food, might be ice
Well,
cream or something. Then
yeah.
I hear you can probably pound back a dozen
You're
donuts.
supposed to have most of your like sugar intake after a workout when you're like still in that burning phase.
Sure. Okay, how many donuts have you had? Give us your record. 762-555.
For more Philly, Joe, and Kirby, log it into 92.1 City weekday mornings 6 to 10.